Let's, did I do, so I'm starting that, right? This is starting, okay? This is like take 2. Okay, so this is going to be synthesis. Some books call it combination, or I like synthesis better. Although in synthesis, like in organic chemistry, for instance, you can oftentimes produce more than one compound. So sometimes synthesis is not a good thing, but I like synthesis. But anyway, so the first one is obvious, and I'm just simply going to do the reverse of 4 that I did under decomposition. You okay with that, Musaba? You sure? Okay. All right. Musaba looks very excited. He just won the lottery. This is Musaba who just won the lottery. You ready? Right. This is Musaba, and the Earth's going to end in 10 minutes. And he just found out that information. So let's look in on Musaba. You ready? Okay, so man of few words, okay, and few expressions. Okay, so the first one is when I take 2 elements and I produce a compound. So this is going to be sodium and chlorine, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, what? Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodide, if they're in the gaseous state. We're going to start to put symbols next to the reactants and products soon, not right now. So for instance, this would have to be G here. This would be a G, an S here.
Solid and gas.
For instance, solid and gas, and this is going to produce a solid. You know, oftentimes. AQ is a big one. What does AQ mean? Anybody know? It's kind of like Latin. Very good. Aqueous.
Liquid.
Exactly. Aqueous is AQ. You have L for liquid. Okay. So another kind would be if I said an acid anhydride plus a base anhydride. Okay. So for instance, P2O5 plus pick one. Magnesium oxide.
Because you salt.
That's going to produce what? What's that going to produce? Now you know what your transformations are. So what polyatomic ion will diphosphorus pentoxide become? Just look at your notes.
Magnesium PO5.
No, you did. You just wrote these down, didn't you? I mean, I saw you writing them down furiously. Didn't I say that phosphate comes from P2O5 and vice versa? Didn't I say that? I had it on the board.
Yeah, well, I just combined.
Yes, but you don't. Yeah, this isn't like accounting. That's what. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to do any of this. So this is going to be
PO4.
right. Yes. Acid anhydride plus base anhydride yields a salt. How would you balance that? How would you balance that? So you got 8. You have 8 there.
You put 3 in front of the magnesium.
You guys are really good. How'd you learn how to do that? In biology last year? Or?
No. Mostly logic.
Logic. Excellent. Excellent. Not something that every student has, but I appreciate that. Okay, excellent. I mean that. That's not like a facetious excellent. A facetious excellent would be more like excellent. Okay. That'd be more facetious, but I'm actually being honest. That was good. I like that. Excellent. So what would another one be? Do we know? Seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it? Yeah. Would be CO2 plus water yields carbonic acid. Where does this happen? This is acid rain. Okay, fair enough. Acid rain. But where else does it occur? A little bit more complicated than this. Well, it's not more complicated. It's just, it's more complicated. Where would it occur? Anybody have any idea? Where would this all occur? This one here.
Acid rain.
We said that, acid rain. Where else? This is important. You want to take DP bio? This is going to be big. Well, it's going to be respiration. When your cell, what does your cell use in order to, what does it have to take in to make energy? Oxygen. What does it give off?
CO2.
It gives off CO2. And how does the CO2 get out of your, you can't do it on gas because your limbs would be torn apart. There'd be, the gas, your limbs would be torn apart, right? Over time, because if the gas is produced in your cells and gas is actually released into the blood, how can the blood get around your joints? You ever hear of the bends? Yes? You never heard of the bend dying of the bends? Well, the bends is when you come up too fast after a long time at depths. No, it's not nitrogen. It's nitrogen. But the gases are produced and it can't get around the joints. It's called bends. So you can't have gas in blood vessels. So how is it released then? It's released in the form of carbonate, bicarbonate. It goes into the blood like that. Goes in the blood like that, like an acid. Goes in the blood like that. Get it?
Then how is it converted to carbon
At the
dioxide?
lungs, at the alveoli, at the lungs, it's converted to carbon dioxide. And what would you think be the other one? The fourth one would be what? The fourth one. This is one element and an element yields a compound. An acid anhydride and a base anhydride yields a salt. And an acid anhydride and water yields an acid. And what's the other one? What do you think?
Base anhydride and water?
Yes, the production of when we do this experiment, it's balanced. Okay, when we do the experiment, have we done this experiment yet? Why haven't we done this experiment? Oh, sorry, I don't mean that, sorry. Did I say anything wrong? No. When you take magnesium strips and you burn it in oxygen, it's very bright. Sparklers, yeah, sparklers are magnesium. Burns very bright, yes? And then you take that stuff and you mix it with water. So you're taking the white powder that you make when you burn magnesium and oxygen, you combine it with water, and you produce magnesium hydroxide. Clear? Easy?
Why is magnesium heavier after it's burned?
Well, because it's magnesium oxide. So this is 12, this is 24, this is 16, so it's significantly 75% heavier. Right? Wouldn't you say? Is that right?
Well,
No?
that's accurate. Pretty.
66% heavier, sorry. Right? 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 Okay. So, something like that. What is it? Now I have to do this. So 24, so 8, 3 times 8 is 24, and 2 times, so then it's going to be how much heavier? It's going to be, 100, no, how much is it going to be? It's going to be 12 is 66% of, 24, 16 is, I don't know, whatever. I'm like, my brain is fried, it's been a long week. So instead of trying further and further being frustrated, I'm just simply going to say, we'll figure it out later, okay? All right, now, so that's it. So you have a base anhydride and water yields a what? A base. Clear? Okay, you get it? Or no? Yes? Okay, so that's why it's heavier though. It's heavier because this is 24, so 66% of 24 is 16. I have to do it, I know. And then you take, you're adding the oxygen to it. So this is 16, this is 24, so 66% of 24 is 16-ish, 66 point whatever. And then, so that's why it's heavier. So it's not that magnesium is heavier, oh, I don't know where to say. It's not that magnesium is heavier, it's that it's combined with oxygen. Yeah. Okay? So we done? Yes? Yes or no? So that's everything, right? So let's do a video on reviewing for the midterm, okay? All right? And we'll come back for that. We're off.
Your thing's out of charge.
It just says 20% left. Click,
You have to click it first.
click on the notification.